Obviously, forecasted snow coming in Friday morning, kind of running into Saturday morning. Our guys, we started applying the brine solution to all our roadways yesterday. We got about 70% of those done. We applied about 60,000 gallons of brine yesterday. We're going to finish up all our level 1 and 2 roads, so all your collectors and arterials will be brined by the end of the day. We'll come in, we're going to move our trucks over to more of a snow application, i.e. put on our plows, put on our salt boxes. So then we'll be completely ready for in the morning. The current forecast says around 10 a.m. the snow will be here, so we'll have folks staged up in their districts with those plows on, and hopefully try to get that snow off the road as soon as it does come. And you know, the forecasters a little bit, you know, they're talking could be as much as 3 to 4 inches. But regardless of the amount, obviously the County Highway Department has prepared, and we'll be ready to remove that snow as quickly as we can.
Do you guys feel more prepared this year after going through that heavy snowfall last year? Now you kind of know what you need to do before we get to that point?
A little bit. We were able to buy some additional equipment, kind of changed some processes around, updated our priority list, obviously learned some lessons from that big snow. So we feel like we're going to be better equipped to address it. Certainly, we hope we don't have that kind of snow this year, but with the cold temperatures we've had this week, this ground is going to be really, really cold. So whatever precipitation we do see is probably going to stick. Hopefully, the brine solution does prevent roads from freezing. But yeah, we do believe that some of those lessons learned should be helpful this year.
When it comes to priority, you mentioned that level 1 and level 2 roads. Can you just kind of walk us through what the priority list looks like for Public Works?
For sure.
And real quick too, can you talk to them, when you answer that, talk to them about, there's actually a website
Yes.
that the public can go to look at all this and then Zoom and tell you look into it.
Yeah, so to your point about priority streets, obviously, you know, the streets that have more traffic are going to be the ones we want to get to first. And we do have a website. We can provide that for you, for all your viewers, to kind of show, obviously, you know, we got to get our main roads clear first, those ones that are the arterials that lead and gather that traffic into and out of the communities. And then we kind of work towards collectors, which are then the next level street. And then lastly, obviously, the residential and local streets that may be dead ends. So, but yes, we do have a process in place to certainly identify the streets that have the most traffic, as well as certainly emergency locations around hospitals, nursing homes, things with those medical facilities. We want to get there too. So we do try to look at it through that lens.
And can you talk about that website a little bit? What folks can see when they go there?
Sure, and that website and we can provide the link for you, but it shows that list. I believe it's a color-coded situation where you can see, you know, what priority roads there are, and it gives you a little description on why we did prioritize those roads, because, you know, some people may like, well, why is this road more important than the other? Well, it really depends upon the traffic volume, because obviously, you know, the more traffic, you know, we want to certainly address those roads first, so.
And so I know that you have these priority roads, but after this big snow last year, are there certain areas that you foresee being more problematic than others?
Sure, and that's one thing we learned last year a little bit, is even in some of your dead end and residential streets, there's some hills and curves and areas that don't ever get sun. So we've made notes of those, and as a matter of fact, like there's a couple, one off Hardin Valley and one off Kingston Pike, that have real steep hills that, you know, they're not on per se a priority 1 or 2, but they're really challenging for those folks. That may be the only way those folks can get in and out. So we are pre-treating those and elevated those up into that list. They don't carry much traffic, but they're the primary route for those folks to get in and out. So we want to consider that as well.
You mentioned that you guys were able to buy some more materials this year. Do you have any numbers off the top of your head as far as how much the county spent to prepare for more winter weather?
We expended all our salt supply last year. So if you go over there to the salt bin, you'll see a very large quantity. That salt quantity itself was around $400,000. We did retrofit a few trucks, so I would think that the total amount of money the county used to prepare for this snow, probably in the neighborhood of $500,000 to $600,000 of additional resources to hopefully combat that winter weather.
And of course, whenever we get weather like this, it's a team effort working with other agencies in the county. Can you talk about that relationship with KCSO, fire, ambulance when it comes to response times and their ability to operate in this weather?
Sure, you're right. KCSO, TDOT, the City of Knoxville, we're in constant communication with those folks. You know, we have a person here on staff that answers the phone 24/7. We want to certainly be responsive to that. We get requests from EMS dispatch with 911 because oftentimes an ambulance will get stuck and we'll have to, you know, route to that location. So yeah, we're in constant communication with E911 to really provide that essential service for those emergency vehicles, because that fire truck, you know, we got to make sure that fire truck or that ambulance can get to that accident. So we certainly work very closely with them too.
What would you say to people who aren't able to avoid not driving this weekend and do have to be out on the roads?
We certainly, anytime that there's inclement weather and folks see snow on the roadways, we would encourage them to avoid travel if at all possible. You know, our dump trucks are going to be out there working until the snow is gone. You know, that dump truck is a very heavy piece of equipment, and if you slide in the snow, that dump truck is going to slide in the snow, and he's going to take a lot longer time to stop than a regular car would. So we certainly don't want anybody to get caught up in, you know, us sliding into them or whatever. We had a couple of instances like that last year. So just certainly if you see one of our trucks on the road, just realize that, you know, it's loaded full of salt. And it may not stop as quickly as you could. So just take a little caution, give us a little extra room, and we're certainly out there just trying to clear the roads as soon as we can.
Do you know how many snow plows will be out and what kind of schedule they'll be running on?
Sure. We have about 25 trucks that are equipped with snow plows and salt boxes, and every one of those will be out. We will rotate crews around so that we keep people rested and you know, that sort of thing. Usually try to work a 12-hour shift, but once it starts, we'll have that entire assortment of equipment out until such time that the snow has been removed and folks can really resume normal travel.
If there are trouble spots, folks have a slick spot in their neighborhood or something like that, how can they report that? How can they let you guys know? In a
Sure. If you go to our website, there's a general email that goes. I believe it's. I can get it for you there. I think it's like epw.operations. But you know, if the best way really is just to call 865-215-5800. That is our main number. That number is manned 24/7, 365, and we have a computerized system. We input that request. And you know, obviously it may take us a while to get there depending on the severity of the storm, but if it's logged into that number, we will get a truck to that location as soon as we possibly can.
Will they be running overnight as well?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That is the anticipation. We've kind of worked it up to where we'll probably bring crews in at obviously a normal time, and we'll bring additional round of crews in overnight. So yeah, they'll be working 24/7 for the next few days.
About how many miles of roads have been pre-treated so far?
I would estimate somewhere around 500. We were talking about that this morning, so that's obviously that you can see that number's relatively small. We maintain about 1,800, but a lot of those miles we have are in residential streets and dead ends. But those level 1s and level 2s probably comprise about 500 miles. I just appreciate you guys coming out and trying to get the word out. I mean, my crews, they're going to work as hard as they can with the resources we have, and we'll do everything we can to keep the roads as safe as we can and try to get the snow off of them to resume normal travel as soon as possible. And hopefully it don't snow as much as they say it may. Some forecasts are saying 5 to 6, so we don't want to see that. I'd rather see 1 to 2.